Okay, we're in. Hey, folks, it is January 15th, 2021. Boy, it's time. And there's no flying cars. I can't get on my roof and fly to Washington tonight or do anything fantastical other than have a great internet with high quality HD video, which I'm not even sure if I got 4K shooting out here across this world. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You know, this is, I think the last one we've done may have been New Year's resolutions, which, by the way, I've broken every single one of my resolutions so far. I gained even more weight. I have to let out my socks tomorrow. So anyway, tonight's really fun. I don't have any tinfoil hats in front of me at the moment, but I have worn them in the past. Actually, I know it prevents you from being scanned from the aliens. So tonight is all about one of my favorite topics. What is it about? Conspiracy theories from the past. Now, believe it or not, I do love a good conspiracy theory. On the other hand, I actually do like them a lot, really a lot. I've listened to many of them. I don't know if I believe in all of them, but I kind of like listening and watching them and hearing about them. And I kind of know little bits and pieces of it about them all because I've listened to many of them over the years. But who can retain such nonsense? Or is it? Anyway, so let me bring on my co-host here, the guy that you all know and don't like, who should be wearing a tin hat. He looks better in a tin hat. We all know him as Walt Papaleo. I'm going to give his name the right name for the first time ever. Come on in, Walt. There you go.
Listen, we gotta keep this top secret.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody know that we're doing this tonight. All right?
Yeah, we're working for
the Illuminati might be in on this that we don't know about it. So just keep a low profile. Everybody, anybody who's watching this tonight, just go. You weren't here. You were not here.
That works for me. Hey, do you think Monica Lewinsky, who slept with one of the presidents back in the day, was called the Illuminati?
Yeah. Monica.
There's a stupid.
I got to be honest. I thought she was a little attractive. Everybody thought she was a fatty. I didn't think so.
Well, if she's a fatty, what are we? Tubbies?
Yeah, right. No, we're pretty good.
You're right. There was something sexy
about that. Might have been that stain.
Maybe. Anyway, how are you? First of all, I am very unprepared today. I'm extremely unprepared.
That's what this show is.
I know, but I feel like I don't have any notes, any idea where I'm going here with this, and I had a busy day, and we decided to throw this one up, and here we are. So why
are you letting anybody in on that? Everybody should know that we're very prepared, and we do this. It took us hours to do this.
I'm honest. I'm totally 100%. I'm always 100% honest.
That's a conspiracy right there.
Yeah, I'm on. I remain the honest person. So anyway, well, was the last one that we done? Was that
that was the New Year's resolutions? And yes, I have broken those as well. I joined my Team Beachbody. We'll see what happens. See if I get rid of a little bit of that.
You're going on a diet, huh? For real? You're going on some sort of a diet?
Yeah, I'm gonna go on something. I don't know, some shakes.
Okay, that works.
That's all. But yeah, no, this is going to be a great one. It's going to be about conspiracy theories when we were growing up, and it's all the garbage that when we were kids we just ran around telling everybody like we knew stuff about it. You know?
I know.
Did you hear this?
There's a lot. And by the fact, I noticed you sent me a couple of pictures, and I saw that some of them were even more current too. I was like, but not about when we're growing up, unless we're still growing up. I think we're growing down at this point. But okay.
I don't think some of them are still going on, but most of them were like when we were kids, they were big things. Like bring one up. Let's just bring one up and we'll riff on it.
Okay. This woman has real breasts. Those are real breasts.
That is a good one.
That's not a conspiracy. That's a fact.
Yeah, no, that's a conspiracy. That's a conspiracy that I've never had a shot at that woman.
Here's the conspiracy: is that your chin in 2022 will look like this.
Actually, my chin in 2020 right now looks like that. 2021.
All right, let's bring up one of the ones that you. Here's one of the ones that you. Okay, this is a classic one here. There you go.
Come on. Razor blades in the apples.
Right.
That's so the big thing was during Halloween, you would get apples. Sometimes you would get candy, but sometimes you get that idiot who decided an apple was going to be a something they drop in your bag. I mean, it was nice when you brought it home. You had a nice heavy bag if you had 3 apples in there, but it wasn't what you wanted. And then some crazy SOB decided that he was going to start putting razor blades in there. So when a kid who did want to eat an apple ate it, it cut his lip open.
Is that really what happened, though? Is that the real story behind this?
That's the story I knew.
Okay, all right.
What did you hear?
No, I don't know if I don't remember the whole. I just remember, there's razor blades and apples, and then people started giving away candy that was like covered and stuff like that. But I do remember hearing it.
Think about it. You take an apple, right? You've seen apples. If it's not brand spanking new, right?
I've seen an apple.
Yeah, you've seen an apple. If it's not brand spanking new, it's a little bruised up. You stick a razor blade in there, it slides right into the apple, and then you don't see it in there because the juice covers it back up again, and then it turns all rotted there, and it looks like the rest of the apple after 3 days.
It sounds like you're saying this from actual practice.
I've tried it.
I tried it.
I mean, it makes sense, and then people used to stick pins in them too.
But so apparently you're saying, though, that this started off as a
Halloween,
a pranky kind of thing that was like a supposed story, and then some idiot really did it. That's what you're saying.
I don't know if I think it was some idiot did it. And then it turned into that, everybody was like, at the time when you got an apple in your bag, you threw it right out. Like,
it wasn't a copycat crime, as they say.
I mean, listen, nobody put that many razor blades in it. I mean, I overdid the picture.
The Polish kids used to eat those all the time. Oh, look, I have.
Now you can shave with that apple.
Yeah.
But yes, those razor blades would go in there. So some sick SOB decided to stick a razor blade in an apple to see, to see a kid. And then I remember you bring an apple home, your mother's like, throw it out.
Fresh produce, no good to eat for Halloween. You want to eat those things that look like what are those the little orange marshmallowy disgusting. What are those things? Those
peanuts.
The jumbo peanut.
But let me tell you something. Even taking this a step further, if you're a person who gives out apples on Halloween, you should be tarred and feathered anyway.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. Well, when I was a kid too, I remember them putting pennies in there and dimes and stuff. Like people would give you money in the apple.
Really?
Yeah, I remember that. I don't know why. I mean, you'd pull them all out and go, oh, look, I got an apple and I got like 10 cents.
I don't believe it. That's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, at least the razor blade, they have a purpose.
Yeah, I know. The money is supposed to add into your protocol of cash for your bag.
Yeah, what about the dirt? What about the dirt on the money?
Yeah, I get it. Sticky money. Yicky. You gotta wash it. Hey, you sent me this one too. All right. What is this now? The Sky Lab is full.
No, you don't remember this?
No, I don't remember this.
All right.
Okay.
This was back in the 70s, bro. There was a Sky Lab up in the air. It was like almost like the Hubble telescope or the International Space Station. It was called Sky Lab. And there was a rumor flying around that Skylab was going to come crashing down to the Earth because they lost control of it.
I don't remember that.
Oh my God!
That was not one that you weren't privy to the pennies and the apples, and so.
If you look it up after the show, so Skylab. Now get this: everybody was afraid to go outside. Like if a Skylab fell out of the earth, out of the sky, it wasn't going to go through your house and kill you anyway. And what was that? What does that say? My dad's never gave out candy. He would give out 5 nickels.
5 nickels, a quarter.
He didn't want to make it look like he was giving him 5 of something instead of 1.
Yeah, it makes it look good. It makes it look good.
Yeah, but Skylab, and dude, and get this, man. The biggest scam out of all of that was there were companies, they were like selling like those worker helmets from a construction site, a construction helmet,
Right.
that you were buying them just in case a little piece of Skylab came down and hit you off the head. You had a helmet on.
I don't remember the Skylab thing too. I mean, I know there's Chicken Little, the sky is falling, but I don't remember the Skylab falling down. But I do know there's planes that have fell out of the sky. There are meteors. There's rocks.
Yes, but this was a man-made thing. So anyway, it was out of control, and I researched it today, and they actually hit it with something. I don't know if they hit it with a rocket or something, but they knocked it into the Indian Ocean and Western Australia.
I want to know who's paying you to work while you're researching that. And if you call
I was off today. I was off today.
If you call Googling the sky is falling research.
You Google Skylab, and I'm telling you, it's all going to come up.
Okay, I will. By the way, I threw a couple. I was thinking about this today, and you know, you could do any one of these real conspiracies that have been around a long time, and just spend hours and hours talking about just one thing, right? One thing. Now, this one, I looked this. I'm going to surprise you with this one.
All right, that's a tick.
Yes. And what does that tick mean? What does
Tick
that
means? If it's a deer tick, you get Lyme disease.
Right, which started where? In Lyme, Connecticut?
Was it? I don't know.
Well, there was, you know, all that. Now, this tick thing is that's another conspiracy. They said it was man-made. There people, they created it. There was all kinds of stuff about Lyme disease that's not really true. It's easily fixed with antibiotics, and there's other people that have suffered from Lyme, have all kinds of issues from it, neurological, et cetera. So I don't know. I think that's another one that's conspiracy. I don't know a lot about it. I just know it's a conspiracy. There's a lot of conspiracy around it.
I don't know about ticks, but hey, listen, if there's anybody out there that wants to, you know, type in a conspiracy theory, we'll be sure to happy to talk about it and probably not know a lot about it.
Yeah, we're just idiots just talking about things we don't know, which is perfect.
That's all.
That's the show.
That's it. It's a show about nothing.
I did remember as a kid, though, for Halloween, getting ticks with little razor blades in them. I do recall it.
Right. Those Tic Tacs with little razor blades in them.
Now, here's something. Your brother said that the Skylab was scary. The world would end. That's what people thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it would hit the Earth so fast that, like a meteor, it would wipe out like the United States.
Now, do you know what this conspiracy is? Do you know what this is, Walt?
You know, I saw that on the beginning, and I do not remember that. If you tell me, I'll probably know it.
It's the airport in Denver.
You know, that came up when I was researching it, and I just didn't know enough about it or anything about it, so I didn't even look at it. But what was it?
Well, I don't know everything about it either. What I do know is, though, I've seen tremendous amounts of this artwork inside the Denver, Colorado airport. And the artwork is very weird. There's like a soldier killing a young boy, and I haven't pulled these pictures up. And again, you could speak hours about this, but and then they claim that all of these pictures are an Illuminati-based kind of conspiracy that's foretelling you the future of America. And underneath the ground, they say that there's tunnels underneath this Denver airport that go out to military and all kinds of weird stuff under the earth. And they've shown that there's been piping, there's been construction there for many, many years, even though they weren't building new wings and things, you know. So if you look, I should have pulled up those pictures. If you look at these pictures in the Denver airport that are painted, the murals all around the wall, they are very cryptic, bizarre, and disturbing to look at. They are. They really are. And there's a when you look at them, there's a story being told in some, if you will, you know, and it's a disturbing story. And you wonder, like, why would you put that in the airport? Which, you know, brings up the conspiracy. So there you go.
You would think that, like, okay, that's been there for years. Let's change the pictures. You know, let's put something else up. But, you know, they just leave the same pictures there.
Well, I think they claim, the people in conspiracy land claim it's predictive programming, which is the Simpsons. They do this as well. In the Simpsons, they have all of these things. There's like all these little hints about what's going to happen in the future. And by laying this out ahead of time, they're showing you what's going to happen. And by doing it early, that predictive program, letting you not be offended by it when it happens, because you've already kind of been assimilated to it. And there's another thing too with
by the way, with the Simpsons, I want to come back to that. Why I think the Simpsons does that, but I think the Simpsons does that because they've been on for like 30 years and they do like 30 episodes a year. So you have to touch, if you just go crazy with the weirdest thing you can think of, eventually it's going to happen.
That's not a bad answer, but apparently they do things early on, like the September 11th. They show you a guy holding the magazine. He's like Bart's holding the magazine that says 111, and the thing is falling down, and there's planes knocking into it. And this was done before it happened. It's 2001. It happened in 1998. So that's a predictive program. Speaking of which brings you more into conspiracies. September 11th, one of the biggest conspiracies that's been around. That and the moon landing has been like one of the biggest. What do you think or know about that? That's a good question.
Which one?
September 11th.
September 11th. I mean, I gotta be honest. I was in the trade centers on September 11th. So I researched everything on there. I researched everything from how the building fell with the plane hitting it so fast, taking the insulation off of the girders, which made the floor pancake, and it came down to, it was an inside job by George Bush and the government to bring us into a war with Iran, Iraq, whatever.
Now, okay. So what I've heard, and again, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I've heard. But I've heard. And you know this too. I think you've known this because you and I think have spoken about this before. I've heard that what happened was when Kennedy in 1960, whatever that was, three was shot because he was going to go back to the gold standard for the banking system. And the banking system was controlled by a cabal or a cartel to make us all slaves. Right, and what
here we go.
and wait me up. I'm coming back. So so the banking system is actually really, from my understanding, that the United States is a corporation, and that corporation, and we're all like employees of the corporation. It's maritime law and all that. So apparently, in 1963, when he was shot, he had signed. 7 days prior to that, 7 days before, he had signed some sort of an agreement to make us go into this gold standard. And apparently the people that making all the money off of us little people being their slaves to debt and interest and all that sort of stuff. I see your eyes getting bigger.
Yeah. This is how people look at conspiracy theorists.
So apparently he had him killed. And you know as well as I do, they say that September 11th, where they were going to try to do it again, it was a wake-up call for that. And the conspiracy jumped even further, across decades of time. They claim that the conspiracy theorists say that what's happening right now with the President Bush, President Trump.
President Trump.
I think of Bush.
Right.
That President Trump was actually being, as well, is not coming out. He's actually going to come back in, and he's going to change this whole thing into Nasara and Gisara, and it's going to be back to the gold standard with a new currency.
Yes. Henceforth, the reason we're doing this show for this reason, because QAnon and me and John have gotten videos about how Trump is not leaving the office, and he's got the military in Washington right now, and it's disguised for the inauguration, but they're going to arrest everybody. So he said, why don't we bring up a show about what's going on in the past that we laughed about? So yes, that
the show is doing good because we're dropping people as we go. The more I explain, the less people are watching.
It's not political. Listen, this is not political. This is just what's going on now. That's all.
The flux capacitor works too.
It does. That's what makes time travel possible.
The flux capacitor. Yeah. So anyway, so there's a bunch of stuff when it comes to that airport is considered part of the Illuminati. And then when you start thinking of Illuminati, what's the next conspiracy you think of when you think of Illuminati? I think of symbolism, and that comes to this.
The dollar bill.
Right.
The eye above the pyramid.
Right. And now there's many things about this dollar bill that you could break apart. There's so much. I have a friend that's does a radio show. And it's really fun. He could sit there and rip this up for hours about everything, all about it.
That guy in Vegas?
No, he does Ryan Gable does a show. It's a really wonderful podcast. It's on every night, 5 nights a week. It's really great, really great. I'm hoping to have him come on one night.
But the Illuminati is for what we know about it, and we're not members yet, but we're looking to become members.
Yeah. Well, I haven't
looking to become
these yet either. I haven't.
You got to start with being a 33 degree Freemason.
Oh, is that what it is? 33-degree Masons?
Yeah. And then you can get into the Illuminati.
No more.
But the Illuminati is supposedly like the Bushes, Prescotts. What's the big family? The Rothschilds. All of them. They own the banking system, and they're the Illuminati. And anybody who's rich, Tom Hanks is in the Illuminati, and Ricky Gervais is not in the Illuminati. So he was. I'm surprised he's not gone.
Now wait a minute. Now when it comes to this Illuminati thing, too. By the way, there's tiers of the Masons, right? The 33rd degree Mason is the highest one. Yes. I was told in this conspiracy stuff, which I have no idea. I don't know, but I was told.
Yeah, you're told to say that.
When you get to the high level of that Mason, that you find out really what you're worshiping is satanic beliefs. Like, in other words, you get to the top and you find out that really you're a devil worshiper, you're a satanic, you're evil, you're not really worshiping anything but evil at the very top. I don't know.
Listen, I know a couple people that are 33-degree Masons.
You do?
And yeah, I do. And they tell me that it's a little kooky, the initiation.
Is it?
Yeah, you see these clothes I got on? They're not on during initiation.
I did shows in New York City at the Mason, the #1 Grand Lodge of Masons or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, like 34th Street or something, right in the middle of Times Square almost practically. It's pretty across from the Garden, a couple blocks from the Garden. And when you walk in there, all the floors are black and white checkers, and they have this grandiose gold and red, and it looks. And I had done entertainment for them. They were all very wealthy, powerful lawyers, and
Yes.
And they had me entertain them before they did some ceremonies or something, what maybe make them laugh. So they can't be that bad. I mean, even evil people have to laugh.
Even evil people have to bring a guy with evil puppets.
Yeah, that's the next thing. I think evil puppets next time. But I didn't find it.
But yes,
but the place.
The Illuminati is if you ever listen, if you ever want to watch a really good YouTube film, it's called "Everything's a Rich Man's Trick." It's 3.5 hours, and it goes
3.5 hours. Whoa, that's a Sunday afternoon with nothing to do.
Yeah, that's a Godfather marathon right there. But it goes from World War I, where all those rich families figured out that war is how everybody makes money all the time, no matter what side wins. War makes it, and then it goes to the JFK, and it goes to 9/11, and it goes all the way up till today. But everything that happens is a rich man's trick.
Which leads me to the same thing. I mean, again, that brings you right back to JFK. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, there's JFK with the beautiful Marilyn Monroe.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, JFK. I was born literally November 21st, the year after. He was shot November 22nd, the year before.
Okay,
that's a very good picture, by the way, that I sent you on that. It's a nice color. It's got a good view. His head is all intact.
Send me that picture. I don't think you did.
I did.
You did. Okay. Well, let me ask you that picture. Okay. Who? Now, I'll tell you what I know. Who shot JFK?
Well, I mean, the history books want you to think it was John. Was it John Wilkes Booth? No, Lee Harvey Oswald.
John Wilkes Booth was dead a long time before that.
Yeah, he was the one that shot Lincoln, which is another thing where Lincoln and Kennedy, where the secretary's name was Lincoln and the other one was Kennedy, and blah blah blah. There's this many letters in this name and this many letters in that name, and they were both had the same dentist name.
But who shot JFK?
Well, they want you to. We were brought up to believe Lee Harvey Oswald, which I don't believe that.
Right. What do you think it is?
I think that the CIA. Now, this one's going to be crazy.
Wait a minute. Let me get that great music. Go ahead.
All right, the CIA. The CIA killed him, and in charge of the CIA was George Bush Sr. So when Donald Trump becomes the president again in the second term, his vice president is going to be JFK Jr., who faked his own death so he can avenge his father. I know.
Now, something about JFK. He signed. Remember, I was telling you, I was thinking about this earlier. He signed the gold standard agreement. That's what it was. 8 days before he was assassinated. And that was signed on the 14th.
That means everything is backed by gold.
Yeah, it was signed on the 14th of November, 1963, at the Hilton Hotel in Geneva. That's what it was. And he was assassinated on the 22nd of November at 1963. Now, the United States had selected a committee on assassinations after that investigation, I remember, and they named the snipers.
Warren.
Yeah. But there's a puzzle that remains with this whole thing. And, you know, to think about the gold standard thing, that there is some validity to this, because when you take a dollar and it's based against a piece of gold, that value of that gold goes up and down a little bit, but it's within a bubble. But when you say we're coming off the gold standard, which I think they did in 1973, I think it was Nixon that did that.
I didn't know that. I thought we were still backed by gold.
No. As a matter of fact, oh man, no. We would take. I believe it was 1973. I may be off of the facts, but
are you getting excited? Are you getting excited that you know something?
I'm start thinking of history now. I'm thinking of history. But when we were taken off the gold standard, I think it was 73. When we were taken off of that, that gave the government the ability to print dollars,
print money
endlessly. So now when you print in money endlessly, the value of that money can go up and down according to how much they print, which is exactly what's happening right now.
Yes. Right? I mean, those stimulus checks that are coming out to people.
Now, I heard somewhere in the news the other day that they said that I think the American, I could be wrong here, but I mean, I'm not looking at facts or looking anything up, but I remember hearing that the total money value cap in America is $14 trillion. I think China's around the same. And it's $9 trillion in the UK and all that. So it's $14 trillion. And they said that this year alone, they printed 25% of the total national cap of money, the market value of money in this country. 25% of it was printed this year alone due to the stimulus issues and stuff.
So if we have a $23 trillion debt, why don't we just print $23 trillion worth of money and give it to who we owe it to?
Well, that's the whole point. Say it's, I believe it was 14 trillion. Say it's 14 trillion, and now they print 25% more. Say 4 trillion. Let's give it round numbers. So they print another $4 trillion. So now all of a sudden the economy has $18 trillion in it. And it doesn't matter what the numbers are. Just add that to any number. It doesn't matter, 25% or so. Now you put that, all of a sudden, if the dollar's value at 14 trillion was $1 equals this, when you add 25% more into that pie, you all of a sudden, the value of it goes down 25%.
I get it, but listen, it doesn't matter. Everybody's buying everything. You give somebody $2,000, they go out and spend fucking. They go out and spend $2,700. I know. Warning. That's how I get all juiced up with this, man. Conspiracies.
This is why we're not on radio.
Yeah, well, you gotta watch it call a button. Oh, here we go. Don't even get into that.
The Men in Black are going to be knocking at both of those soon, guys. Yeah, I'm sure that's going to happen. Maybe Black Lives Matter will be knocking at my door, looking for smoking. Now, just social media.
Yeah, but Kennedy. I'm going to give you even a crazier story with Kennedy. You ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
It's in that movie. It's in the movie. Everything's a Rich Man's Trick. Again, write that down. Kennedy was killed, but he was killed by 7 shooters, and he got shot by 7 shooters. And the one shot that took him out was from a sewer. Everybody else was shooting. They were hitting the guy driving.
What I heard.
They were hitting the guy driving. They were hitting
right.
What?
I heard the guy in the sewer is the real killer of Kennedy.
Right. The guy in the sewer shot him.
I believe
was in one of the sewers,
Mhm.
and I forgot where I was going. Hang on a second. Oh, I know what happened. So now Lee Harvey Oswald is running away, and on the way to the theater, when he was going to the theater to see whatever movie, I think it was Stripes with Bill Murray, he was going there, and he saw a cop, and the cop was questioning him, and he shot the cop. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Okay, there's a police officer that was shot as well. There's a police officer that was shot as well. Well, in the movie, they tell you, what do you think the police officer who got shot, his name was? One shot to the head, the police officer took. He looked just like John F. Kennedy, and everybody called him Little John F. Kennedy. Little Kennedy.
You know, I have heard this. I have heard this, yeah.
So what they did was, when they put the bodies on the plane, they put JFK with the 7 bullets in them. They put little JFK, the cop who got shot with 1 bullet in his head, with his head shot off. And then they switched the bodies to make it look like Kennedy was killed with 1 bullet.
Okay. I have heard the guy in the sewer shooting him, and I have heard that they replaced it and all of that. And I have heard that John Kennedy's son, Kennedy Jr., is actually never died in that plane crash, and he's still alive today. And he's going to come out soon, and he's going to go around the country and help people get back on the gold standard and explain what's gone on that's nasty in our government. That's what I've heard.
All right.
Okay.
Next one.
Next. First, for a little bit of comic relief. Is it true or is it not? That should be the thing for. Is it true or is it not true?
That is not true.
Back to conspiracy theories. Hey, remember this guy? Who is he?
Jimmy Hoffa.
Jimmy Hoffa.
Jimmy Hoffa. Now, Jimmy Hoffa was the union rep way back when, back in the 70s, and mysteriously disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The movie The Irishman was about,
which was fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Hello, Down Under. Good day, ladies.
Hello. So there's been rumors. The reason I brought that conspiracy theory up is because he's been rumored to be buried everywhere. You know, the movie said he was put in like a tin with acid, and his bones and everything were disintegrated. But there was also rumors that he was in Giant Stadium. He was buried in Giant Stadium, the concrete. And then recently, you know, I'm from Jersey City. There was a rumor that he was in Jersey City. He was buried in Jersey City.
Do you remember back in late 80s, early 90s? I believe it was Geraldo had a report where they went to some place and they thought Jimmy Hoffa's body was buried there. They had the camera crew come in and everything, and he wasn't there. You remember that? It was a big thing on the news. It was like,
I remember the safe, Al Capone's safe. I don't remember Jimmy Hoffa's.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was Al Capone. Or maybe you're right. Maybe I'm confusing it with Jimmy Hoffa's body. There you go. To me, it's just BS.
But that was a big one back then because he disappeared, and then every time, you know, every joke that was something about like you look behind, like Robin Williams used to do a joke, like he would just look behind like a piano and say, "Oh, Jimmy Hoffa," you know.
Yeah, that's actually pretty funny. Yeah. I used to do a joke years ago saying, "Oh, that guy. Oh, who was it? What was the Kennedy joke? Poor John Kennedy needed. What a bad day. He needed that like a hole in the head, something like that." But anyway, terrible. All right. Let's move on. I guess we could spend all day.
No, we're going more than an hour here.
No, I don't want. I mean, you could just spend all day on one thing. Speaking of, there he is again, yes. John Kennedy, and then Marilyn Monroe becomes another conspiracy as well.
That's correct. How she died.
Right. Yeah. Now, how did she die?
A drug overdose. They want us to believe it's a drug overdose.
Was he eating peanut butter sandwiches with Elvis when it happened, or I don't recall?
No. But yeah, I Norma Jean, she was a hot little minky, and she was doing everybody.
I think she was doing his brother, right?
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on there. But can you blame him? Look at her.
well, I don't blame the guys, but boy, I don't know.
What do you
When
think she looks like without makeup on?
when does that vagina close?
What I would love to see a picture of her just getting out of the shower with no makeup on and her hair like wet straight down.
You know, it's funny too. I'm looking at this picture. Remember those bras? They used to wear those like torpedo-y bras like back then. That's kind of cool. You wouldn't
Yeah.
wear that anymore.
They should.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, they should. And you know,
They
Tom
should.
Kennedy, apparently, I remember reading something about him having all kind of health issues, and he was on like certain like opium, or he was on something to really take away the pain because he had back problems and operations, and
I didn't know that.
yeah, there was some sort of. I remember hearing something about that. He was in tremendous pain.
I heard like 27 different ways this guy was killed. From the one with the Lee Harvey Oswald, with the guy in the sewer, with the Cubans, with Sam Giancano, and you know, there was a whole bunch.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.
Buried under Lou Costello statue. It ain't happened. Like Walmart open 24/7. You know, it's interesting because I don't know. Now, again, there's people that know there's people that you could bring on here and talk for 3 hours just about one thing, like Marilyn Monroe or John Kennedy, just on and on. And then
Not us, but people.
into something a little bit lighter, lighter. That won't be me or you. Now, why did you throw this in there? The pop rocks. Now, what was this conspiracy behind this?
You don't remember that one?
Was it that Mikey died from eating pop because there was pop rocks in his cereal? Is that what it is?
No, Mikey from Life Cereal died from eating Pop Rocks and then drinking Coca-Cola with the carbonation.
Oh, okay.
And they exploded in his stomach, and everybody went around telling that story like they were the only one who heard that.
I kind of, now that you bring it up, I kind of remember that silliness. Yeah.
That was it. You were like, oh, bro, you bought Pop Rocks? Do not
Whatever
drink
you do.
Coca-Cola.
Oh, man, Pop Rocks. That was a big thing, Pop.
That was a huge thing, man.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't remember that whole conspiracy there. All right, now you I don't know what the heck this is.
I was in 7th grade. Oh, this one here, Paul is dead.
When did I put that up?
What?
Did you provide me with that photo?
Yes.
Okay, Paul is dead.
You know what that is?
Well,
Paul McCartney was dead. Everybody thinks Paul McCartney was dead.
Because why? Because if you played a certain song backwards on if you took the record and went backwards instead, it was
Paul is dead.
Paul is dead. Paul is dead backwards, and then people started doing reverse. And then there was something to do with this photo too about explaining that he was dead. And
yeah,
also,
well, if you look,
also with this.
Well, I'll tell you both of those. If you bring back that other album, bring back the Abbey Road. Nope, the album Abbey Road, where they're walking across the street.
Okay.
Look at everybody has shoes on, but who?
But Paul.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Is that proving that he's dead?
I don't know. But everybody pointed that out. That was right around. That was their last album before they were breaking up, and that's what everybody said, that there was clues there. Now, if you go to Sergeant Pepper's,
which is funny, you know, what's funny is they're all alive except he's the only one alive anyway. There was a
well, I'm going to explain that.
No, actually, Ringo's still alive, but he was always the non-essential guy. Love and peace.
Ringo's the only one that's left.
No, Paul McCartney's alive.
No, he's not. I'll tell you who that is.
Oh, that's not Paul McCartney? It's a conspiracy?
Yes, a conspiracy. That if you bring up the Sergeant Pepper's album, you remember the song in there? They introduced Billy Shears.
Yeah, one and only Billy Shears. Yeah,
the one and only Billy Shears. Supposedly, he looked just like Paul McCartney, and when Paul McCartney died in that car accident, Billy Shears took his place as Paul McCartney. So really, you're looking at Billy Shears and not Paul McCartney, who looks like an old crypt keeper now.
That's Billy Shears. Oh, come on.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
That's definitely Paul. You can see that's him. It's clearly him.
That's how good Billy Shears looked like. He looked just like him.
I do remember looking at this album as a kid for many, many like hours at a time. And the thing that disturbed me the most was the dummy in the corner. There was like a puppet. If you see it on the right part, it says bloody driving glove next to the dummy.
Of course, that would scare you.
Yeah, it did. It did actually bother me back in the day.
How dare they? How dare they do that to a puppet?
Yeah, exactly. How dare you?
Don't be using a puppet in a conspiracy theory.
So there was other conspiracies with this thing. Apparently, everyone that's inside that photo, there's something. There's matter of fact, there's a lot about this whole thing with this album, if I remember correctly. I'm not an expert on this either, but the concept to appear in costume on that in that album cover, they was surrounded by like all these influential people, like they had just performed a show or something. And I remember hearing like, I don't know, that they all had a great idea about this, but one guy didn't really want to do it. I think it was John Lennon everything had to be the way he wanted or something. But all of those people are famous people in there.
Yeah, I mean, John was the guy who was the trouble behind everything. There was one time it was overheard that Paul McCartney said to him, "I could just kill you."
Oh, really? But I do know there was 58 people. I remember there was 58.
I don't know that whole album, but I do know that Billy Shears is Paul McCartney, the guy in Paul McCartney's career right now.
And you do remember playing the music backwards, right? Like,
yeah, it was one of those songs on Abbey Road. I forgot what song it was. Maybe Golden Slumbers. You play it back.
I remember doing it all the time, showing people, look, listen to this. Paul's dead. I recorded on a thing. You could hear it. And then all of a sudden, that same stuff had to be done with Zeppelin record albums.
That's right. Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway to Heaven. It was, what was he saying? Like, I'm the devil or something? No.
But if there's a muscle that you're, there's still time to change the road you're on. That part right there is where you play it backwards. And it's like the power of Christ compels you, or something like that.
Maybe somebody in the comments will know what it says. I bet you.
My brother was a big Led Zeppelin. He had a whatchamacallit, one of those denim jackets with the cover of that album.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he knew it. No shot. What is that? No shy. Sergeant Pepper's
hand over his head.
Okay, there you go.
How many people? He says, yeah. John says, how many Beatles were there? Were 58. There were. Well, how many Beatles are in the picture? I believe there's 4, right?
There's 4, but Billy Shears is the 5th one, and then there's probably Billy Preston somewhere in there. He's the 6th one.
Ruth Preston, Brian, is actually agreeing with you.
They claim he died, and they replaced him with another person, Billy Shears, William Shears.
Here's to my sweet Satan. It's Satin. Okay. So
Satin.
Satin. He's talking about here's to my sweet statin drugs.
Here's to my sweet statin.
Yes, Satan. Yeah, I guess that's what he.
Nice try, David. Nice try at spelling Satan.
He's probably on an iPhone 4, just trying to do as quickly as he can with fat thumbs.
Right.
All right. So getting back to more. Now, I just typed in conspiracy, and this popped up. What the heck was this about? I don't even know.
I'll see if I can find it. I don't know. Is that Kanye West?
It looks like Kanye West and Bowie.
Yeah, I don't know that. I don't know what that is. Here's just a rule we should have here between you and I.
We suddenly
if neither one of us know anything about it, don't bring it up.
Why not?
Kanye West was he's a big he was been in the news with
it says Satan now. It says Satan. Satan. Well,
the French devil.
I read that the real name is Satan, and it comes from the planet Saturn, which is where the word Saturday came from.
Oh, I did hear that.
Yeah, because
from you one night.
Yeah,
at 3 o'clock in the morning, we're talking on the phone, and this stuff came up.
I remember reading about in this book about symbolism, about how Satan and Saturn is. As a matter of fact, there's so much stuff about that with the Saturn and all that. There's so much stuff. and Saturn is apparently it's dark and it has that ring around it, and that's why the day Saturday came here to our world. Whereas the same day, the day that everyone prays is Sunday. They used to pray the Sunday. Same way Saturn was Saturday, and it goes to this whole thing with the Jews and the Phoenicians and all that kind of stuff.
Just let me make one comment here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dawn, run, run.
Okay, let's see. Next, how about this? I don't like this conspiracy at all.
All right. I don't either. I brought it up because I liked when the $6 million man fought him.
Oh no! This is my Italian grandmother going to get to me.
Yes. She need a little nair. Yeah, that was Sasquatch, which was Bigfoot sightings. That was another thing when we were younger kids, man. That was, hey, is there a Bigfoot? Yeah, we saw Bigfoot. Oh, look at that picture of Bigfoot, and then he was on a $6 million man.
Yeah, but I was never into, I like a conspiracy, but this one I just don't like. I don't know.
What's going on?
It doesn't pull me in. How about you?
It doesn't pull me in, mainly because people would be hunting him. They would have sat up in a tree like they do with deer, and they would have shot the guy already. The thing already if it existed. And
then they have those big they take a clay piece of the foot so they can pour cement in and show you the size of this giant foot. And a lot of people say that they appear in and out of reality. They come in and out of another dimension. And I've heard all kinds of weird stuff. I don't know. That one just always got me as like, that's a classic conspiracy, and there's done tons of shows about it and stuff. But I don't know. People say they leave food out and they come and take it, and all this kind of stuff.
What are you saying, Dave? You're saying like there's more than one?
Oh yeah, apparently there's tons of them. Yeah, in the Northwest and
Dawn, run.
And then when you start thinking about things as silly as Bigfoot, that's not a conspiracy I'm too happy about. That one I'm kind of like, I just whatever that was.
When we were kids, it was a big deal, bro.
Well, to some people, it's a big deal today.
Yeah, well, not me.
How about this?
Another Loch Ness monster. Everybody was.
Oh, is that what it is? I thought it was an Irish guy taking a leak in a lake.
No, that's Nessie. They call her Nessie out there in Loch Ness.
Yeah. Now, what do you think about that deal? Now, that's a little bit intriguing to me. A little.
Again,
humps in the water moving.
They caught Jaws. They can catch that.
Now, where is this lake? This Loch Ness lake? Where is it?
I'm gonna guess out in Scotland or something, somewhere out there, right?
And what do the Scottish do when they're hanging out in the woods?
I don't know.
They're drinking heavily. They're just drinking heavily.
Yes.
And all of a sudden they're like, oh, Bigorra, look at that thing go by. And they're like, oh, yeah, I saw that too. Give me that gig.
Do you think every one of them say Bigorra?
I don't know. The Bigorra, is that Irish?
Every one of them are Chief O'Hara from Batman.
I actually heard the Scottish people are really kind and nice people. I was in England, and I was only about 2 hours away from Scotland, and I really wish I spent the extra time to go the extra couple of distance and go into Scotland. And I'm going to go back, because I really liked London. I loved London. I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, big Illuminati town.
Yeah, you're right. Right. Speaking of tons of
evidently the monarch, or whatever that is, the monarchy, the kingdom, the Vatican in Rome, and Washington D.C. are the only three places on Earth that are their own sovereign states, and that's where the Illuminati stuff goes. They all have those. They're like the Washington Monument. They all have something like the Washington Monument there, and they have the pyramid stuff all over the place.
We sound like just two total idiots, that we're sitting here talking about stuff like we don't even know about it, and we're just like throwing it all out, like whatever. It's like
what the best is, and you guys will never see this, but after this show is over, me and this idiot right here are going to sit and talk about this stuff for another 2 hours.
Now you gave me this. Oh, I remember what this was as a kid. Now something a little bit lighter. A little bit light and fluffy here, make it life easier.
The best gum. the best gum that came out as we were kids.
Yeah, it was. It was really
Bubble
cool,
gum.
soft, and it was big and square and really sugary and
Yeah.
soft.
And you could make a bubble like this.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna do that again.
But what
I'll
was
never
the
do that again.
conspiracy behind the bubble yum?
That it was made with spider eggs.
I don't know. It was made with. I remember hearing that there was spider eggs in it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it wouldn't have been a conspiracy, and everybody wouldn't be saying it if it happened one time. They were using it over and over again to give her its flavor, which was, probably gave it a less elasticity to make such big bubbles. The spider eggs.
Yeah, which starts to remind me of. Do you remember how many times you heard the story of a woman lost her wedding ring in the bathroom of Kentucky Fried Chicken? And somebody orders a bucket of chicken, and they come out and they're eating, and it's a rat, and inside there is the woman's wedding ring.
I never heard that, but that's disgusting.
It's a great story. But
that is a great story.
For a while, there was a problem with people thinking that there were rats in Kentucky Fried Chicken. They got caught in the batter and fried as part of the chicken info. So they made this. This was like, I don't know, the 80s or something, late 70s. And it's the same thing. Then Taco Bell had a problem too with some conspiracy with something in them too. But I do remember hearing the story a couple of times about the lady. She's washing her hands in the bathroom of Kentucky Fried Chicken. She goes, "Oh damn, I lost my ring!" And they try to get it and they can't. And then a week later, somebody's eating, and there's a gold ring in there, and
it's a rat. Yeah. But they had something like that with this was a big conspiracy theory too when we were younger, is that a girl licked an envelope and she cut her tongue on the envelope, and she sealed it and she mailed it, and then like 3 weeks later she started getting this big bubble on her tongue, and she went to the doctor to get rid of the bubble, and they lanced it, they pierced it, and out came all spiders because there were spider eggs on the glue of the envelope. And if she did that, it went in her tongue.
I do remember hearing that silly story. I forgot all about that one. That's one that I've forgotten totally about. So bubble yum. All right, eggs inside. All right,
spider eggs. Not just eggs. Spider eggs.
How about this baby here? You ready?
That was another thing, man.
Now, Tylenol ended up changing the whole industry and how things opened up. I mean, before you used to have to push down and turn. Then they started coming out with things that you had to like push, press this and do that. And
you got to line up the arrows and pop it off.
Like, remember, you get a headache and you're like sitting 20 minutes trying to open up things. I don't know what they did to these things. I can't open these things anymore, But yeah,
that was a big thing, man.
70s, the Tylenol with the cyanide.
Yeah, I do remember. This was in the 70s and 80s. That was another thing. It's like there was no Advil back then.
You're right.
There was no Advil. There was no Aleve back then.
No, there was not.
It was Tylenol and St. Joseph aspirins for kids.
Bear. Yeah.
Bear. And Bear. That was it. So everybody was buying Tylenol because it would make your headache go away like this. Now you couldn't even buy that because you were playing Russian roulette with it.
I do remember that. Yeah, that was a really weird time. And speaking of that brings up to other little silly things besides Mikey's.
Mikey, I can't believe that guy died from Pop Rocks and Coke.
Bohemian Grove. All right.
You know this one.
I got that one too. Bohemian Grove is. I didn't know there's a book about it.
But Bohemian Grove, what I know about it, and what Alex Jones has told me when he calls me every now and then,
right,
is that I almost lost that camera. So the Bohemian Grove is a place in like right around San Francisco that is guarded 24 hours a day by armed guards. You can't get in unless you're a member or invited. Some big wigs go there. I know that Alex Jones has actually exposed it, where they do some satanic rituals, and it's all men, no women, and it's got a really bad reputation. That some funky stuff goes on there.
I heard too that there's a big owl huge owl carved into, I guess, the mountain or the wooden trees or whatever, and they pray to Moloch. It was
Moloch.
Moloch, and Moloch is like a god of something, and I don't know, they don't do actual sacrifices, I guess, but they used to try to do sacrifices thing. They play out this play amongst them, and all the people there. It's like George Bush Senior and Junior.
Yeah.
I remember watching the report from Alex going in there and videotaping it under guise of hiding. And,
Yeah, he was hiding. He got by the guards or something like that. If you try to get to that place, you can't.
But I think that's the thing that made him famous, like really well known. That was the thing that pushed him out because was able to get in there. That was like a groundbreaking thing. And now people today say the guy's a psyop. So I have no idea. Don't know.
Explain to people what a psyop is, please.
It's a psychological operation to make you think and behave in a certain way that may not be the reality of it.
All right. How about telling everybody what a psyop is in English? Oh, yes. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. I was going to bring that up. The
What?
Love Roller Coaster. Dave Merlin, thank you for bringing that up.
Love Roller Coaster song where they scream supposed to be a girl. I never heard that. Never knew this one.
So anyway, the song is Love Roller Coaster. I love this. I love that he brought this up.
Great song.
Love Roller Coaster by the Ohio Players. And it's the song, right? Love Roller Coaster. Ooh, yeah. Tell me what. That song. So there's a part where they go, ooh, yeah. Ow. Wah, 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 whoa. So as they're hip hopping and all of that, in the background there's a girl who screams. She screams in the background. The rumor has it is there was a girl in the sound booth that got murdered, and you hear her scream on the record.
This is new to me. Never heard this one ever before. Never.
Oh, that's absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you, David. That's
Thank
pretty
you,
good.
David Merlin.
And somebody, Scott Salati is saying, guess I know you're not going to talk about the latest conspiracy. Tell us what it is, Scott, that you want us to speak about. I'd be more than happy to bring it up. I'm not afraid. I am not afraid. I have a tinfoil hat right underneath this table. I'm ready.
We'll bring it up, Scott. I know it, and I know Scott. Scott was in New York. He lived right around me here, and he picked his family up and he moved to the red state of Texas.
So then I know exactly what he wants us to talk about. One more here. We had a Chinese restaurant whose employees found a dead deer and they brought it into the trash can through the front door. Real story. Well, wow, I'm surprised. I'm surprised it didn't make it into the pot.
That's not a conspiracy theory. That's light.
Hot and sweet and sour deer.
It's a great accent.
Yeah. We had a Chinese restaurant. So yeah, I'm wondering, and here's your brother. Wizard of Oz Munchkin hang himself. That's right. That's another.
That's right. That's a good one, man. We're not getting off in an hour.
Yes,
we're going to go an hour and 15 minutes today.
No, we could get off in an hour.
It's a minute. We got a minute.
You should get off. You should get off in a minute all the time.
Right?
Dawn.
That's totally different. Dawn, run! Yes, the midget that was hanging in the background. Supposedly, there was a midget who killed himself in the making of the movie The Wizard of Oz, and in the part where Dorothy and
it's not.
What?
It's so politically incorrect. It's
like, what do you mean?
You don't call little people midgets anymore.
Oh, whatever. But that's what they call. All right. So whatever. Munchkin. I'd say a munchkin.
They're munchkins, but they're little people.
Yeah, little people, little munchkin. So a munchkin, an actor who played a munchkin, and that's not a basketball player. It's a munchkin. He hung himself. So if you're looking at the part where the Scarecrow and Dorothy, they find the Tin Man. That's when the Wicked Witch throws the ball of fire and hits them, and he goes on fire, and they put him out, and they find the Tin Man. So when they start going, we're off to see the three of them. You look straight ahead, and you see a midget just swinging there.
He's not a midget, a little person.
Oh, a little person. A munchkin. You see a munchkin, a little drunk munchkin just swinging in the background.
You know why? Because not only was he a little person, he was gay, and he came out of the closet. No, he came out of the cabinet.
Right. You blew it.
No, I was sleeping. I wanted to give it a one and the other. You know, I remember hearing that, and now I'm probably going to go look because that's like what else is going to
That's
bother.
exactly where it is.
How about Elvis, baby?
I got to tell you something, and this is the easiest conspiracy theory to ever believe. And I've told you this before in the past.
Why?
Because Elvis Presley, first of all, his name is spelled wrong on the tombstone. His name is Aaron, Aron, and he spelled it Aaron. So technically, that's not him in the grave.
Well, wait a minute. Let me interrupt you here because John F. Kennedy Jr., if you look at the gravesite that he's in, it has all the symbology too to show that he's not really in there either. There's a bunch of things. Please continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right. So Elvis also had $1 million insurance policy when he died, and $1 million back in 1977 was a lot of money. Nobody ever claimed it. Nobody ever claimed it. What?
He was already a millionaire.
Yeah, but it's you don't not claim $1 million insurance policy because you're already a millionaire. You add it on.
Okay.
The family. So anyway, he never claimed that, and the main thing is he didn't want to be in the public eye anymore. And if Elvis Presley was alive today, he could literally move to Las Vegas, go into a 7-Eleven. He can go in and gamble. He could do whatever he wants because all he is an Elvis impersonator, and nobody's going to bother him.
Okay.
That's why I think he's alive.
I'm looking at right now while you're doing it. I'm looking at.
Oh, you should tell me that so I can keep going.
No, that's quite all right. I'm just looking at the picture. There's a picture because it starts making me think about
He'd be 80 right now.
The burial ground for JFK. And I'm going to try to show you there. If you look to the right, you'll see it looks like a Q.
Ooh, they are saying that he is Q, by the way.
And people are saying he's alive, and that's Q. I mean,
yeah,
that seems crazy, but
I love it. And that brings us back to Scott Salati.
Now, that's probably what that Scott Salati was probably talking about. Let's see if he responded back.
Scott Salati, I know what Scott's talking about. Scott's talking about Donald Trump not leaving the White House on January 20th in the morning, declaring martial law, and he stays the president. All the bad guys get arrested. We go back to the gold standard. Everybody's outed as a pedophile. That's what Scott's talking about. If it happens,
everyone,
we said it right on the show here. But that's what Scott's getting to. That's why we did this. Michael Jackson is not alive.
as a white person.
Yes, that one again, Michael Jackson could literally move to Las Vegas and he's a Michael Jackson impersonator because there's 1,000 of them there. Nothing like Elvis though. Regular people walk around like Elvis.
I think Elvis is dead. He gained a lot of weight. He had depression. He was a mess. He was a mess towards the end. He was a good-looking guy, and he kind of destroyed himself. He let the business destroy himself. It's a classic showbiz story. Freddie Prinze, too. Remember that Freddie Prinze back in the 70s, too? They said
he killed himself.
They said he killed himself, but there's conspiracies about that. And then there's how about the guy, Living Color, the black comedian, great comic,
died?
No, he left. And he said because he didn't want them telling him what to do.
Damon Wayans?
Yeah, I think it
was Damon Wayans, David Allen Greer, Tommy Davidson, and Keenan Ivory Allens. Whatever.
He had his own show, and he just left out of the blue, just stopped and left. He had his own television.
And what was the reason?
He wasn't going to let the man tell him what to do. They wanted him to do things, and he thought it was wrong. He just disappeared from showbiz, and he's just come back. He's a stand-up comic. He just did 2 specials recently.
That'd be Damon Wayans.
Not Damon Wayans. The other guy.
David Allen Greer?
No, bald-headed black guy, tall, skinny.
Oh, Keenan Ivory Allen? Keenan Ivory Wayans.
I don't know now.
Jim Carrey? He's not black.
He was from a James Bond movie. I didn't know that either.
Q was from a James Bond movie.
Oh, the guy Q.
Q was the guy who made all the gadgets.
Right.
Which later he went. M was Judi Dench. She was the chief. Q, but then when Q died, which was Mark Llewellyn, then he became the guy. John Cleese became like R or something like that.
Your ridiculous memory of movies. It's like it's always endless. So
I told you, it's just crazy, man.
all right, well, let's do one more. This is something else too. You're not going to recognize this. You don't know what it is, I guarantee you.
That is where they hid the time machine in Back to the Future 3. No, okay. That is, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
That is a conspiracy I've heard about many times called the Skinwalker Ranch. Have you heard of that?
No.
Never heard of that. So the Skinwalker Ranch, I think it's called the Sherman Ranch, if I remember correctly. It's a property that's tons of acres, and I think it's in like Utah somewhere. I think it's Ballard County or something like that. And there's like all these UFOs that appear there all the time. People, the guy who owns this, people go on like 20, 30 people go on a trip there, and he'll bring them out into the the ranch and into the land, and he'll just sit there and they'll concentrate on it, and you'll see these ships come over, and people say they connect with them and all that kind of stuff. It's Skinwalker Ranch, and
how much is that?
It was bought by somebody who's a very wealthy entrepreneur.
Charlie Sheen. It was Charlie Sheen.
No, it wasn't Charlie Sheen. Whatever happened to winning? He's I don't hear from anyone. And then when you think of conspiracies of UFOs, what do you think of?
Area 51.
Of course. How could you not think of that? That's
I wish Trump would declassify those documents.
Well, they actually just did. There's 501 pages or 900 pages. It's on my Facebook page. You go down a couple of links, you'll see they just declassified a whole bunch of stuff. They promised they would, along with the stimulus bill. They came out with tons of stuff.
So there's no aliens.
Well, I don't know what's in it. There's people studying it right now. I mean, I haven't looked at it. There's tons. I don't know if there's 5,000 pages or something. I'm interested to hear what they come out and say happened. I have no idea.
See, that's why I just watched the movie Independence Day, and it tells me what's in Area 51.
That's what. Well, there's that predictive programming for you. You are predictive programming. See that? You buy right in and then you get it.
I buy right into it. I love that stuff, man. I love it.
Show you. There you go.
All right.
Satanic right now. You're a big Kiss fan.
I'm a huge Kiss fan, but the rumor was it was Knights in. So Kiss stood for Knights in Satan's Service. KISS.
Oh, get out of here! I never heard that either.
No, that's
Satan's
Service.
Satan's Service. Okay,
and that's why they dress up in the makeup.
Smoking pot.
No, that was what we grew up with.
They got the red handkerchief around their head or hanging in the back pocket with the jeans and the dingo boots going, let me tell you, man, you know what KISS really stands for, man. You don't know.
That's exactly it. Right? You think it's just like, it's not. It's not. It's Knights in Satan. And then you get one guy's like, Knights in Satan's Service. Wouldn't that make them NIS?
There you go, right. Funny. Yeah, so I didn't know about that. But
you didn't know that, huh?
I didn't know that, but I was a big fan of KISS. I actually saw one of their concerts when I was a kid I sat in the front row and almost got the broken guitar they threw out. Some lady next to me grabbed and I wanted to kill her. But it was a great show. It was actually the first concert I saw. It was in 1975 or something, and it was at the Garden. My father had friends of his, the Garden. He got me tickets to come right in, and they took care of me. It was really, really cool. Really,
I've been to a dozen KISS shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it was great. Really, really great.
But the Knights in Satan's Service, just in case you want to, you could join. There's a link there to join if you want in on that.
I think we went through all of these, and you're right. We did an hour and 10 now. So there was one I didn't bring up real quick, and I started buying into this one. I really bought into this. What is it?
What is it? Oh, you know what? I forgot about that one. Y2K was the end of civilization. Everything wasn't going to know what to do. All the electronics weren't going to know what to do, and they're going to send us into like the dark ages.
all the computers were going to crash because of the year 2000 wasn't programmed. It only went up to 1999 on December 31st.
You know what the answer to that was, by the way? You know what they told you to do with your VCR?
Your VCR?
Yes. Well, back then there was no DVD players. It was VCR. You had a VCR.
Yeah. But we weren't worried about the VCR crash. We were worried about the world crashing.
No, I was worried about the VCR.
Gas, the water pumps won't work. And I remember listening at the time. I was a big fan of Art Bell, and I used to listen to Art Bell all the time. As a matter of fact, I would purposely tape his shows on a slow cassette tape. I spent a lot of money on a box this big with AM/FM radio, and I still think I have. Maybe I threw it out. And you put a cassette tape in it, and you press it on half speed. And so what it does is it takes the 2-hour cassette or 60-minute cassette and make it run so slow that it'll do 2 hours. And I would tape it, and you could program it in an analog way to tape Art Bell that came on at midnight or 2 in the morning till 4. And I would tape it, and then I would listen to it in my car, because you'd plug that into the car with this little electric piece that went to the cassette player to play it in the car. And
I remember that.
Listen to it. And he was claiming constantly that the world was like, and I remember buying a lot of water, thinking that we're not going to be able to get water. And I bought cases and cases of water. I had a pallet of water delivered.
You still have.
Huh?
You still have it.
Yeah. Cases of water.
The thing they told you with your VCR, this is what I remember from that, is set your if you were going to program your VCR, you couldn't do it because it didn't have the year 2000.
Right.
It didn't have it in there. So if you programmed it to you set the year back to 1972, then it would have the same stream as 2000, the year 2000.
Right. I don't remember that either. Don't recall that at all.
Yeah. So the day, 1972, January 1st would be like the same as 2000, January 1st.
How do you like that? You are chock full of silliness.
Gene Simmons is, yeah.
I broke my.
He did actually. It's funny. My brother broke his knee there. Let me tell you a funny story about that. So I'm at a concert with a friend of mine, Eddie. We have seats all the way in the back, but we have front row. We're up the top in the back, but we see all of the stage. We're not on the side of the stage. We're in straight ahead, but we're all the way in the back, up top. So you can see the ramps where the Meadowlands. So you see the ramps that go out where the ambulances come in, from the hockey rink, right? So me and Eddie are up there, and we're having a beer, and I'm looking outside, and I see an ambulance taking somebody out of there, and I'm like, what kind of stupid ass comes to a concert and has to be taken out of here in an ambulance? What an a-hole, It was it was Brian. It was my brother. Him and his friend tried to jump over the fence to get in. They slipped, fell, and he broke his kneecap.
Wow, breaking your kneecap. That's got to hurt.
Or he broke his knee or something. Yeah, it had to be the cap, I guess. But I'm sitting up there making fun of the ass that got taken out of the Kiss concert, and it was him.
Oh, God, that's horrible. That's horrible. That's horrible. Horrible for the bro. Horrible. All right. Look, I think we've done quite enough. We've exhausted our conspiracy. By the way, again, any one of these things you could have spent hours
an hour.
We could get
2 hours
on that. Would have just went hours on one. I find it fascinating, a lot of them too. And some of them I really like to know more about it. I haven't learned, I'd like to, but who can remember all this stuff?
I can.
Yeah, Punk, good for you.
Somehow I have that stupid memory.
My brain is full. My hard drive is tapped.
Somehow, how do I turn this into money?
I don't know. It hasn't worked so far in 30 shows.
Anybody know somebody wants to sponsor our show?
Yeah, conspiracy people.
No, that's just this show. Next week it'll be about,
who knows?
Nail polishes.
From the 70s. Well, this has been fun. This is cool crap that I remember growing up and stuff.
Yeah.
The only thing was that all out of the stuff that we did bring up, there was a couple things that were current that we did bring up that really weren't about when we were growing up. One of the ones that we didn't bring up either when it comes to conspiracies is Epstein's Island, all of that kind of stuff. We haven't gone to that direction at all. Epstein didn't kill himself. Yeah, there you
No.
go. And
Epstein
people,
did not kill himself.
if you look at all those parlor things, they say that Epstein is alive. He's alive. L.L. Linwood said he's alive. I'm like, really?
He's alive.
That
And
would
he's
be
going to blow the whistle on everybody.
load of wisdom.
And I heard that he's also Q.
Who?
Epstein.
Oh, he's Q? Yeah,
I heard he was Q.
I think the John Kennedy thing sounds much more familiar than that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, he's in a grave that actually looks like the letter Q.
Yeah, there's a lot more to that too. There's a whole story. I saw something the other night on YouTube where it was really hilarious. It's cool, you know. But hey, it's been a lot of fun. What do you think we're going to do next week?
I don't know. We'll come up with something, man.
We're going to come up with some unique thing about the cool things that we grew up with.
Yeah, something.
All right.
Who knows? But you know when we'll figure that out? When you hit end show, end broadcast, and then we'll sit here and come up with some stupid idea. Hey, listen, if there's anybody who has an idea and they want us to do it,
We're
and they
open.
want to be, yeah, bring it up, man. Bring it. And if anybody knows somebody famous that wants to come on the show,
We'll
just
bring them on. Bring them on.
we'll bring them on. We'll bring them on. It could be semi-famous. I don't
And more
care.
importantly, on the YouTube channel, smash that like button. That's what they say. Smash the like button.
Smash it. No, you don't. You want to subscribe on YouTube. You don't want to smash
You need
like.
to
You want to
subscribe
like it.
to YouTube. I think we're just under what we need in order to have.
No,
some-
we're at 101 unless two people pulled out.
Oh, well, just like Vietnam, people do pull out over time. But
Although, you know
you're
what? YouTube is knocking people off. So maybe, you know, if you get knocked off, like Donald Trump was with us,
right.
and
Now
now he's no longer on YouTube. So that drops us down on one subscription.
Yeah, from 103 to 101. You're right. And his kids and everyone else too. So and Q's gone too.
Yes. Q is off and the Oath Keepers are off.
The old keepers, that's right. Anyway, this has been too much fun, Walt. So we'll figure out what we can do. We'll come back next week with something unique and different. But this was an interesting show. Just you and me. We didn't have anybody else on, I guess, and it worked out fun today.
Yeah, listen, we can carry our own weight. We don't need, Max Gale. We don't need
Yeah, he was great.
Max Gale was, okay.
Yeah.
That was another conspiracy, by the way. Do you remember when we had the conspiracy that Max Gale died?
That's right.
And he didn't die.
He was dead, and I hope he didn't find out we thought he was dead.
Yeah. And we saw it. And they made us go back to an episode of Barney Miller where they predicted it.
Yeah, that's right. All right, we'll see you next week. Thanks,
All right,
guys.
brother.
It's been way too much fun.
Thanks for watching. Listen, go subscribe on YouTube for us. Let's get that number up.
There you go. See you next week, Walt. Ciao for
See you,
now.
baby.
Bye.